So the other day, I saw this video by an interview with Isaac Asimov, the late 80s, 1988, I think. And at some point, he admits, it's early on, he just straight up says that he's proselytizing. And if he believed in God, he believes that his viewpoint would be the viewpoint of God. Tell me that's not a religion. And yeah, his proselytism, I believe, has worked. I think we could say that it has been successful, particularly on uh, the demographic of young adults at the time. So that would have been the sort of the younger boomers and Gen Xers. That population right now, the like pro science individuals from that group are the most fervent adherents of this religion. um, yeah, and here I'm going to show a bit of him right behind me here, of him responding to a question regarding why we should throw away basically one version of religion for another. So let's see if I can figure out how the controls work here.
Then how do you explain, to what do you attribute what you yourself describe as a renaissance, in a sense, of mysticism, if you will, of the non-rational, here at the end of more than a century of rationalism, of scientificism?
Well, for one thing, it's easier. To be irrational gives you certain answers. Anyone would rather go to somebody who'll say 2 plus 2 equals 5, and there's no mistake about it, than to go to someone who says, well, modern scientific research says that 2 plus 2 is usually 4. Well, we can't always be certain, of course. They'll go for the certainty, even if it's wrong. It depends on what you promise. Why do people go out and buy fake oil stock of all kinds? Con men always get rich. They sell people all kinds of ridiculous things. They play all kinds of games which just take money away. Why? Because in each case they promise that the person will make a lot of money. And the eagerness to get rich easy, the get rich quick schemes that people fall for, are what they lose money over. Well, this is a kind of a get rich quick scheme of the mind. These are con men of the spirit, if you will. They're selling you something, a false security that sounds good, knowledge of the future that doesn't really exist, assurance that you'll be safe when you're not really safe, and you give them all the money you can in return for it. Same thing like betting which pea is under which shell.
You say
Same thing as putting billions of dollars into development of the LHC, perhaps. Yeah, so he's attempting to use a reductio ad absurdum here, and with the 2 plus 2 equals 5 thing, right? Clearly, we all know 2 plus 2 always equals 4, so it's ridiculous. It's absurd that anyone would go along with 2 plus 2 is 5. That's irrational. No, it isn't. I can easily make 2 plus 2 be 5. Say, for instance, I have 2 pieces of lumber that are 2 foot long each, and 2 pieces of lumber that are half a foot each. If I put them end to end, how long are they? They're 5 feet long. So, I got 2 plus 2 being 5. 2 pieces of lumber that are 2 feet each, 2 pieces of lumber that are half foot each, stuck end to end, so I've added them together, I get 5 feet. 2 plus 2 can easily equal 5. It's irrational to assert that 2 plus 2 is gonna be 4, always, or even most of the time, because it turns out that there's an infinite number of ways to get 2 plus 2 to be 5. And there's an exactly the same infinite number of ways to get 2 plus 2 to be 4. And there's, right, any number. I can get any 2 numbers added together to equal any other number. And there's an infinite number of ways I can achieve that. Because All I have to do is manipulate the units. If I manipulate it so that all of the units are exactly the same, then 2 plus 2 will come out to be 4. If I manipulate it so that the units are different, then I can get any fucking answer I want, including 2 plus 2 is 4, but also 2 plus 2 is 5, with equal probability. Like, there's nothing better about the 2 plus 2 equals 4 answer. But he doesn't know this, because he has never recognized that there is an unspoken axiom at play when we assume that 2 plus 2 will be 4. He's never recognized this. So he's living in a world with magical axioms that make certain things true. But remove those and suddenly they're not true. So, what is his rationalism? It's a set of axioms that he's begging the question that these are the correct axioms. And the reason that he has to go around proselytizing for it is because this is not necessarily the only way to look at things. Validly. It's not necessarily the only way to look at things validly. Right? Yeah. And he's sitting here talking about con men. What does an astrophysicist contribute to your life? How is an astrophysicist paid? How is an astrophysicist paid? It's probably through tax money. What does an astrophysicist contribute to your life? Fuck all. What does a particle physicist contribute to your life? What does the LHC contribute to your life? Right? And you can be like, oh, well, in the long run, that's not that much money. That if you took, I forgot the exact numbers. But if you took France's contribution to LHC research over just a couple years and put it into Haiti, that would be, after just a couple years, it might even be 1 year, I don't remember what the numbers were, but a very short period of time, like a few years at the max, if you took France's contributions to CERN, to LHC, and just said, okay, we're going to hold off on this for a minute until we've paid back Haiti for being assholes to them for the last 2 centuries. We're going to pay reparations. If you took that exact amount of money and put it back into Haiti, reparations would be paid in a couple years. That's how much money it is. That's how big of a scam this is. What has the LHC done for you? Does it increase your ability to eat? Does it reduce the price of gasoline so that you can get to work and go to the store and buy the things that you need? Does it decrease inflation so that your money retains its value? Does it help put a roof over your head? Does it help clean the air so that you and your children and your grandchildren and future generations to come are less likely to get cancer just from breathing the fucking air that we have right now? Does LHC do anything useful for you, or is it a con job? I leave that to you to answer for yourself, but I feel like, at the very least, that's a valid question. Regardless of what your conclusion is, regardless of what your answer to that question is, I feel like that's a very valid question. But Mr. Isaac Asimov here doesn't think it is. He wants you to follow his religion. He's proselytizing his religion, and he's proclaiming that anybody who wouldn't follow his religion... Wow, my washing machine makes a lot of noise. Anyone who doesn't follow his religion is just crazy and just believes in crazy shit. That should be offensive to everyone, even the people that largely agree with Asimov's conclusions. He admits he's proselytizing. He admits that at some point that if there were a God, God's views would be his own. Right? That is extremely egotistical. If not necessarily solipsistic, then it's going to be very narcissistic. That your personal way is the way. Should take a look at this with a lot of skepticism. Right? He's proclaiming to be a skeptic. He's proclaiming to be a rational. He's proclaiming all of this shit. Is he really?